Making hard cider at home isn't that difficult. Today, join me. I'm going to make a couple test batches because usually in October is when I start getting my apple juice to make my hard cider. So go ahead and grab a beer and let's get this going. Welcome back, everybody. So today we are going to make two different kinds of cider. I've got my 1 gallon carboys. They've been sanitized, that's why you see the bubbles. I have my yeast off to the side. I have, let's say, the concentrate I want to use, and I have some apple juice. Now, this apple juice is, Members Mark. This is from Sam's Club. And the concentrated juice I'm going to use is Old Orchard. Now, there are different ways of doing this, but this is how I'm going to do it to test to see what I want. We are using the concentrate as it will have more sugars in it, and then we will fill it up the rest of the way with the apple juice. Now, make sure when you do this, your stuff is room temperature. I'm sure you guys can see on this one, it is cloudy. This has been in the fridge. This one has not. So we're going to kind of mix them and we'll see what the temperature is before I pitch the yeast. Now, the concentrate also has been left out. You want it all liquid so that way you can just dump it in your carboys if you're doing 1 gallon or a 5 gallon carboy, depending on how big of a batch you want to make. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the concentrate in first. Then on this one, I'm going to mix them. So I'll put some of the room temperature, then I'll put some cold just to try and mix it up to get that temperature down. Then we'll take a gravity reading of both of them and see what we get. So for the concentrate, the first one we're going to do is apple raspberry. So let's go ahead and get this open. And I'm just using a funnel. Obviously, it's a lot easier to use a funnel. Then you can already smell that raspberry. We'll get that in there. There we go. And we'll go ahead and put all this back in here. And making cider is a lot different than making beer. Really, all you're doing is pouring it in here in your carboys and then letting it ferment. There's no heating up, nothing like that. So we'll go ahead and get some of this in here. We'll stop about there, and then we'll go ahead and grab our other one that's really full. Let's see how I want to do this. And we'll dump this in there. And if it is too cold, you can let it sit. You do not have to put the yeast in right away. We want to try and get it to the 1 gallon mark. So let's go about there for right this second since I'm almost out. And so now what you would want to do is shake it up. So I'll go ahead and transfer this and this is just a stopper, just a smaller hole so you don't have to put your whole hand under it or your palm of your hand. Shake it up. There we go. And we'll just let that sit. The bung is going to pop out of there until it dries out, as I did have this filled with sanitizer. And if you've been brewing and you use glass carboys, that wetness in there and the stopper will not let it go. You almost have to dry off the ring before that will stay. So for our second one, we're going to do an apple cherry. So let's shake this up. Go ahead and open it and get this lid off. There we go. Pour this in here. It smells like cherry. Oops. Put our ring in so we have less to clean up. And let's go ahead and pour this one in there. This is our cold one, just because it's the one that's open. I think it's going to take all of it. So there's that one. We can put the cap back on there. And we can pour this one in there. We might come up a tiny bit short. Yep. Oh well. It's home brewing or home hard cider making, and it really doesn't matter how full they are. Yes, I would like it a little bit fuller if I wanted to. I could go ahead and dilute this one down and put some water in there to get it to the 1 gallon. But again, we're just more interested in trying what the flavor profile is. So this one should be a tiny bit stronger, maybe, than this one, but we'll find out. So let's just switch these real quick. Push it down in there and let's shake them up. Okay, there we go. So I'll go ahead and grab the stopper so we can pull samples out of each one of these and then take a reading to see what we're at. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I've got my eyedropper. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. And this is the cherry. So we'll get a little sample of that. And we'll put it on here. Close this, and let's see what our bricks are. So we're actually at 1055 on the cherry. And I'm gonna sneak over here, and I forgot a paper towel. Oh, here's one. We'll use this to clean it off. So 1055 on the cherry. And let's get all this out of there. We are done with this, so we can just tip it upside down. And let's get this. Put some on here. And we're a little above, we're actually at 14 bricks on this one. So this one is a little bit stronger than the other one, but thinking about it, because this one has more liquid in it, that would be true. I'm going to go ahead and get the other stopper, and I will be right back. Okay, so we are back. I've got the bungs on each one. Also, I'm going to put a little bit of yeast energizer in each one of these, just to get it going and to help out the process. Now, you don't have to do this, but it is nice when you're dealing with ciders to try and get that yeast a little bit more nutrients in there. I'm only putting 1/8 of a teaspoon in there, but it'll help in the end. So now that that's done, let's go ahead and shake that. Well, let's just do this. I'm going to grab the yeast. So for both of these, we are going to use the Red Star wine yeast. Now this packet is 4 or 5 gallons, so I'm going to do half and half and call it good. There's definitely enough yeast in here to get these going, so it shouldn't be an issue, I hope. There we go. Put some in this one. You could probably do 3 or 4 actually if you really wanted to, but we'll just do it like this. There's a tiny bit left in there. See if we can get it out without getting it all over the table. There we go. So that's pretty much it. Now what you can do is go ahead and shake these up again, get that yeast energizer going, and get that yeast incorporated in there just so it's not sticking on the top. There we go. Should be ready. So yeah, within 15 minutes you can have these going, get them ready. Now what I'm probably going to do, and we'll see, is I will bottle both of these when they are done. We'll see how long fermentation is, and we'll keep taking readings on each one of them. One thing before we go, when you're making this, especially in 1 gallon carboys, say you do 4 or 5 of them, make sure you label each one. So that way you know what it is and you're not thinking, well, this color right now looks like it's redder than the other one. So you'll always remember. Once that yeast starts going in there, you might not be able to tell the difference. So make sure you label them, and hopefully we'll have an update in a week or two. So thank you for joining me, and until next time, happy brewing.